everything's just bolted on temporarily for now, because I want to set up the exhaust before I install everything. So I'm just, you know, trying to find out my clearance and which route to go for the exhaust. But anyways, we have the downpipe. I got a 3-inch flex pipe, and then got a 3-inch resonator. That's gonna go towards the back, and then we got some 3-inch pipes that we're gonna cut and do. Now keep in mind, I've never done exhaust before, so it's gonna be a little bit tricky, and I don't have a MIG welder, I have a TIG welder, so that's even harder. But we're gonna see what we can do with it. So right now the issue that I have is the downpipe. Once it gets bolted into the exhaust side of the turbo, the flange that we have here is pointing downwards, so I have to find a way to curve it up. And what I'm doing is I'm just chopping it in angles, and then I'm gonna come here. I got another flange to weld on, so this is gonna go here, and I'm gonna somehow try to give it a bend. I could do a 45, but I think that's too much of an angle. You want to make sure the airflow is good in the exhaust. You don't want any back pressure, so the smoother it is, the better. So I'm trying to do it as smooth as I can. Let's see how this turns out to be. Alright, as awful as it looks, I think this is gonna end up, you should seal it. I went from the inside and the outside, and yeah, like I said, I'm not the best welder out there, but I think it's gonna seal. I don't really care how the welds look, as long as it seals. That's all that should matter. Alright, so I got this welded on. Doesn't look too bad, to be honest. So that's a 3-inch pipe into the flex pipe, just like how this other side is. And then I'm gonna weld the flange with the angle onto it. I just want to make sure that the flex pipe is as close as it could be to the downpipe, so that there's not much pressure on the downpipe, which is attached to the back of the turbo. So yeah, I think this should be good, and then we'll work our way from the back and see how we're gonna reroute it. I'm thinking of having the exit from the driver's side here outside, but yeah, I'm just working my way slowly to the back now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and weld the flange now to it, and then we'll see how it looks. Alright, so we got the flange welded on. Again, we don't have the best welds, but I think this should seal it. And I'm not really too worried about anything breaking in and going through, because we're running a straight pipe anyways. So that's one of my last concerns. As long as it seals and there's no leaks, I should be more than happy. I'm not trying to build a show car here where, you know, they're gonna go under the car and start looking for welds. But yeah, like, see, for example, here, this welds here are much better than that. I don't know, you know, what is happening wrong. But I know this was an overlap because the pipe went inside, whereas these two is like, I think it's a butt joint lap, so it's a little bit harder. Because once I start welding, it starts melting off, and I have to start filling it. Whereas this guy here was literally, I had to slide the pipe in it and then just weld over it, so I wasn't too worried about that. But yeah, anyways, I could grind it down and make it look smoother. But again, I'm not too concerned about the look, so I'm just gonna put it like that. And yeah, I'm gonna keep going all the way to the back and see how this is gonna turn out to be. Okay, so what I thought of doing is the following. Let me get some light here. Okay, so what I'm gonna end up doing is, you see how we have this alright, so let me just explain what this is, because we installed the tranny and I didn't record that. Basically, this supports the transmission. We're using the CD009. This is part of the kit that we got with the motor mounts. I had to modify it a little bit because I don't believe this is meant to be for CD009. What I actually did is I chopped off the original mounts from the CD009 on the Nissans, and then I welded the base onto the frame that I got with the kit. And then what we have to do is we have to drill through the channel here, go all the way through, and use a nut on the other side. But for now, what I'm going to do is, because of the way we have the exhaust
to be installed. I'm going to chop off here, chop off there, and then do a inverted U. That way I could run the exhaust in between, come this side, and then go all the way straight to the back. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. Because I was thinking of doing, you know, going upwards, coming here, going down side, but that's a lot of work in loops. So I'm just going to chop off this here, do a U for it, upside down U. That way it still supports it. And then I will just come with the exhaust straight. I could flex it, just come all the way straight like that, go to the back, and then use the resonator on the back. But yeah, I think that should work. So I just finished modifying the frame for the transmission. I did this U here so I can fit the exhaust through. Hopefully this will not crack on me. But yeah, I think that should do it.
I've been keeping myself so busy, pushing out the misery, trying to find the peace in me. I wanna be find myself, but again, it's always a phase. I wanted to stay, no you don't understand. I've been losing myself,
Alright, as you can see there, again, maybe not the best weld, but I personally think it's not bad, and it should be more than enough to seal it. And a little bit more to go and we're done with the exhaust. Alright, so right now I have the exhaust just being supported by jacks. But this is pretty much the route that I'm going to take. I'm going to try to go between the differential and below the rear subframe. And then you can see the flex pipe is as close as up it could be. That way it doesn't interfere and doesn't scrape. If anything, it'll only be the rear that's going to scrape. I'm going to do some adjustments if needed once I test drive it. Now for the exit, I'm thinking of having it come out pretty much from here. Straight out at an angle, because when you look at it from the back, I don't want it coming out straight. I want it to come out sideways like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to chop off this plastic piece here. That way the exhaust comes straight out like this. Alright, so we're back at it with the modified exhaust housing here. I have to do it that way because of the exhaust going to come like this. I might have to cut even more. But yeah, that's the whole idea here. I just used some heat and then I used a blade and it was really soft to take off. Because if you try taking it out as cold as it is, it's very hard plastic and you won't get very clean cuts. So what I did is I used a torch, just heated the area I wanted to cut, and then I used the blades and just sliced it. It was pretty easy. So anyways, you can see the exhaust down there. It's gonna have to come up at an angle and just come all the way here. And we'll have the exhaust pointing out this way. Install the exhaust for now. And let's fire it up and see how it sounds.